Welcome to the Ainfluencer Podcast, your go-to hub for influencer marketing, e-commerce, and affiliate strategies. Follow us to uncover success stories, expert advice, and practical insights to elevate your brand. This is the Ainfluencer Podcast, your guide to mastering influence and transforming your business. Stay tuned.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today into strategies for getting Amazon reviews. You know those little gold stars that can make or break a product?
Yeah, for sure. And we've got some great sources to pull from this time. A couple of YouTube videos, actually, from Crescent Cow and Riley Bennett.
Yeah, those guys really know their stuff when it comes to launching and marketing products on Amazon. So let's jump right in and see what we can learn.
Okay, so right off the bat, they both emphasize just how crucial reviews are for success on Amazon. Like, it's not just a nice to have, it's a must have.
Yeah, I mean, think about it when you're shopping on Amazon. Do you even look twice at products with like no reviews or really low ratings?
Not really. It's like instant red flag, right?
Yeah.
And these guys say the same thing. Reviews build that trust factor, and they directly impact whether someone's going to hit that buy button.
Okay, fair enough. So then the question becomes, how do you get those reviews, especially when you're just starting out?
Well, both Cow and Bennett suggest aiming for 10 to 30 reviews in the first 30 days of your launch, which honestly sounds kind of daunting.
Yeah, 10 to 30 in 30 days. That's a lot of reviews, especially for a brand new product.
It is, but they also warn against a common mistake that a lot of new sellers make, running ads too early before you have enough reviews to back up your product.
Yeah. I can see how that would be a problem. You're spending all this money on ads, but people aren't converting because they're not seeing those social proof points.
Exactly. It's like throwing money down the drain.
Yeah.
So reviews first, ads later. That's the takeaway there.
Got it. Now, Kao talks a lot about Amazon Vine, which I've heard of, but I'll admit I'm not entirely sure how it works.
Basically, it's a program where sellers can provide their products to these hand-picked Amazon reviewers, and in return, they get honest feedback.
So it's like a way to get those initial reviews from people who are already trusted by Amazon shoppers.
Yeah, and it can be a really effective way to kickstart your review count. But there's a catch. These Vine reviewers are known for being super thorough and detailed.
So you better be confident in your product because they'll call out any flaws or issues.
For sure. If your product's not up to par, Vine could actually backfire on you.
Okay, so Vine's a good option, but only if you're sure your product can stand up to the scrutiny. Now, Cal also mentions a cool tip for new sellers, the New Seller Incentives Program.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. So basically, new sellers can get a $200 credit to use specifically for Vine.
Which essentially means you could potentially get those initial 30 reviews for free.
Pretty much. It's a fantastic way to leverage those resources that Amazon makes available to new sellers.
All right, so we've got Vine for getting those first crucial reviews. Now, Cal also dives into third-party review services like Rebate Key and FBAReviews.com.
Yeah, this can be really helpful too. And the cool thing is they're totally compliant with Amazon's terms of service.
Isn't it against the rules to incentivize reviews?
Well, with these services, reviewers aren't actually required to leave a review in exchange for the discounted or free product. They're just encouraged to share their honest feedback.
Oh, okay. I see. So it's more about getting your product in the hands of potential customers and hoping they'll leave a review organically.
Exactly. And it can be a really effective way to generate reviews, especially if you're working with a limited budget.
Right, because Vine can get pricey if you're not using those new seller credits. Now, both Cal and Bennett also touch on the topic of getting reviews from friends and family, but they stress how risky this tactic can be.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope.
Okay.
Amazon is really cracking down on review manipulation, and they're getting really good at detecting it.
So even if you're like, hey, just leave an honest review, it could still raise red flags if Amazon sees a bunch of reviews coming from accounts that are connected to the seller.
Exactly. They look at things like shared IP addresses, Facebook connections. Even if you're using different last names, Amazon can still connect the dots.
So basically, don't do it.
Pretty much. It's just not worth the risk. There are safer and more effective ways to get reviews.
Okay, so let's move away from the risky stuff and talk about long-term review generation.
Yeah.
Cal and Bennett both seem to be big fans of product insert cards.
Yeah.
But not just the generic leave a review.
Right. They're talking about a more sophisticated approach, using product insert cards to offer a free gift or some other incentive in exchange for scanning a QR code.
And that QR code takes them to a website where they can claim their gift and hopefully leave a review.
Exactly. It's a much more engaging way to get customers' attention than just a boring old leave a review card.
Yeah, and it also allows you to verify that the person leaving the review actually purchased the product.
That's right. You can use that website to collect their order information and make sure they're a legitimate customer.
So it's a win-win. You're getting more reviews and you're ensuring the authenticity of those reviews.
Exactly. And here's another cool thing about this strategy. You can use that website to build an email list.
Oh, smart. So you can follow up with customers, offer them more value, and potentially get even more reviews down the line.
Exactly. And some sellers are even using these websites to filter feedback. So if someone has a negative experience, they might be directed to a customer service form instead of leaving a negative review directly on Amazon.
Wow, that's pretty clever. I didn't know you could do that.
It's a pretty advanced tactic, but it can be really effective for preventing those negative reviews from tanking your product's rating.
So it's like proactively managing your online reputation.
Exactly. And Tao actually created a tool called Review Scan Go that helps sellers implement this whole QR code strategy without having to build their own website.
That's awesome. So even if you're not super tech savvy, you can still take advantage of this strategy.
Exactly. It's a really user-friendly tool, and it's specifically designed for Amazon sellers, so it takes care of all the compliance stuff for you.
Okay, so we've got Vine third-party review services and this QR code product insert card strategy. Anything else?
Well, both Kao and Bennett also emphasize the importance of email automation for review generation.
Like using a tool to automatically send out review request emails to buyers.
Yeah, exactly. Tools like Helium 10 can really streamline that process, and it can significantly increase your review rate.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Instead of having to manually email every single buyer, you can just set it and forget it.
Pretty much. And you can customize those emails to match your brand voice and target specific customer segments.
So you can make those review requests feel more personal and less spammy.
Exactly. It's all about maximizing your chances of getting those valuable reviews.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. From Vine to third-party services to product insert cards and email automation.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. But the key takeaway here is that there are a ton of different strategies for generating Amazon reviews.
And the best approach is probably going to be a combination of different tactics tailored to your specific product and target audience.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. You need to experiment and see what works best for you.
All right, so let's move on and talk about one of the most powerful review generation tactics out there, the love letter technique.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. It's all about getting those detailed, in-depth reviews from your happiest customers.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So basically, you reach out to customers who are already raving about your product, and you give them a framework for writing a truly impactful review.
Like a template or something?
Kind of. You ask them to address specific points, like what problem did the product solve for them? What was their experience like before using it? How is it different from other products they've tried?
I see. So you're guiding them to tell their story in a way that really resonates with potential buyers.
Exactly, because people connect with stories. A love letter review isn't just a list of features, it's a personal experience that helps others visualize how the product could benefit them.
Right. It's like reading a testimonial from a friend.
Yeah.
It feels much more authentic and believable.
Exactly. And it can really help your product stand out from the crowd.
Especially in a crowded marketplace like Amazon, where everyone's vying for attention.
Yeah. Those love letter reviews, they can really make a difference.
Okay, so we've talked about the love letter technique for getting written reviews. Now, what about video reviews? Those seem to be getting more and more popular these days.
Yeah, for sure. Video reviews can be incredibly powerful because they allow potential buyers to see and hear real people talking about their experience with your product.
It's like getting a personal recommendation from a friend or family member. It's much more persuasive than just reading a bunch of text on a screen.
Exactly. And both Kao and Bennett really emphasize the importance of leveraging those existing customer relationships to get video testimonials.
So if you know you have customers who are absolutely loving your product, reach out to them and see if they'd be willing to share their experience on video.
Exactly. You might be surprised how many people are happy to do it, especially if you offer them a small incentive like a discount on their next purchase.
Okay, so video reviews are definitely something to consider. Now, both YouTubers also spend a lot of time talking about star ratings and their impact on buyer behavior.
Yeah, that's a huge one. The star rating is often the first thing that buyers look at, and it can make or break their decision to purchase.
It's like a shortcut for decision-making, right? If they see a product with a 4.7-star rating, they're much more likely to click on it than a product with a 3.2-star rating.
Exactly. And both Cow and Bennett say that the sweet spot for long-term success on Amazon is a 4.3 or higher average rating with at least 1,000 reviews.
Wow, 1,000 reviews. That seems like a lot.
It is. But that's what it takes to really establish that social proof and make your products stand out.
And once you hit that point, it's almost like you've got passive income coming in from Amazon.
Exactly. Bennett uses that term a lot, passive income, because once you have that solid foundation of reviews and that high star rating, your product essentially sells itself.
Well, you still need to manage your listing and provide excellent customer service. But the reviews do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of attracting buyers.
Exactly. It's like you've built a reputation for quality and reliability, and that reputation keeps bringing in new customers.
Okay, so that's the dream, right? To create a product that basically sells itself. But what happens if, despite your best efforts, you get a low rating?
Well, both Cow and Bennett acknowledge that negative reviews are inevitable. No matter how great your product is, someone's always going to find something to complain about.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's not about avoiding negative reviews altogether. It's about managing them effectively.
Exactly. And they offer some practical advice for dealing with negative feedback. The key is to respond promptly and professionally.
Don't get defensive or argue with the customer. Just acknowledge their concerns, apologize for any inconvenience, and offer a solution.
Exactly. It's all about empathy and damage control.
And sometimes you might even be able to get a negative review removed if it violates Amazon's community guidelines.
That's right. If the review contains profanity, personal information, or if it's clearly seller feedback disguised as a product review, you can report it to Amazon and they might take it down.
So it's worth fighting for those unfair or inaccurate reviews. But what about the legitimate negative reviews, the ones that are actually pointing out flaws in your product or service?
Well, even those can be valuable learning opportunities. You can use them to identify areas where you can improve your product, your listing, or your customer service.
That's a good point. It's about turning that negative feedback into something positive.
Exactly. And if you're consistently getting negative feedback about a particular issue, it might be time to make some changes.
Okay, but let's be real. A bunch of negative reviews can really hurt your product's overall rating. So what can you do to counteract that?
Well, all those strategies we talked about for generating positive reviews, they become even more important when you're trying to offset negative feedback.
So it's like a balancing act.
Yeah.
You need to keep those positive reviews coming in to maintain a healthy overall rating.
Exactly. And if you're really struggling to improve your rating, Bennett suggests a nuclear option, relaunching the product with a clean slate.
Wow, that sounds drastic. But I guess sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
It's definitely a last resort. But if you've tried everything else and the negative reviews are still dragging you down, it might be the only way to salvage the product.
Of course, before you relaunch, you'd want to carefully analyze why the original product failed to resonate with buyers.
Exactly. You don't want to repeat the same mistakes with the new version.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about the psychology of the buyer.
Looking to connect with your audience and make your product go viral? Meet Ainfluencer.com, the end-to-end marketplace that connects you with over 1 million Instagram and TikTok influencers for free. With no subscriptions or fees, Ainfluencer.com makes it easy to find the perfect collaboration partners for your brand instantly. Its AI-powered system does the heavy lifting, matching you with influencers based on niche demographics, past performance, and engagement. Start your campaign directly from your Ainfluencer dashboard or your Shopify store in seconds. Manage everything from inviting influencers and negotiating deals to secure payments and performance analytics all in one place. Handle influencer-curated lists, affiliate marketing, and content creation, even translated into 200+ languages, all without paying any platform fees. Unlimited use, forever free. Visit Ainfluencer.com today and take your brand to the next level.
And it's super fascinating.
Yeah, they really dive deep into what makes Amazon shoppers tick. And they offer some great insights that can help you optimize your listings and increase your sales.
So how do we get inside the mind of an Amazon shopper? What are they looking for? What motivates them to buy?
Well, one key takeaway is the power of visual cues. Buyers make snap judgments based on what they see. So high-quality product photos, a well-designed logo, a clear and concise product title, those things are all crucial.
It's like that saying you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Exactly. And as we discussed earlier, those star ratings are another powerful visual cues. Buyers are drawn to products with a high average rating because it signals quality and reliability.
It's almost like a shortcut for decision making. They see a 4.7-star rating. They think, okay, this must be good.
Right. And then there's the power of scarcity and urgency. Limited time offers, countdown timers, phrases like only a few left in stock. Those things can create a sense of urgency that drives buyers to make a purchase.
It taps into that fear of missing out. We've all been there scrolling through Amazon late at night, and suddenly we feel like we absolutely have to have that pair of shoes.
Exactly. And another interesting point they both bring up is the importance of framing your product's benefits.
So instead of just listing features, you should highlight how those features solve specific problems or improve the customer's life.
Exactly. You're painting a picture of the desired outcome and helping the customer visualize how the product will benefit them.
So instead of saying, this blender has 10 speeds, you might say, create perfectly smooth smoothies and delicious soups with our powerful 10-speed blender.
Exactly. You're appealing to their emotions as well as their logic.
Right, because at the end of the day, people buy things because they want to feel good. They want to solve problems. They want to improve their lives.
Exactly. And if you can tap into those desires, you're much more likely to make a sale.
Okay, so we've talked about the importance of visual cues, scarcity and urgency, and framing your product's benefits. Anything else?
Yeah, one more thing. Both Cow and Bennett emphasize the importance of building trust and credibility.
So it's not enough to just have a great product and a compelling listing. You also need to establish yourself as a trustworthy brand.
Exactly. This goes beyond just having positive reviews. It's about showcasing your brand's story, highlighting your expertise, and demonstrating your commitment to customer satisfaction.
So it's about going beyond just selling a product and creating a brand that people trust and want to support.
Exactly. And that's how you build a loyal customer base that will keep coming back for more.
Makes sense. Now, before we wrap up this section, I wanted to mention a platform that might be really helpful for sellers who are looking to boost their product visibility and generate more reviews.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Agorist.ai. And it's basically a marketplace that connects Amazon merchants with Amazon affiliates.
Interesting. So it's like a way for sellers to find influencers who can promote their products.
It's exactly. And it's specifically designed for Amazon. So you know that the affiliates on the platform are familiar with the marketplace and understand how to drive traffic and sales.
That's cool. So if you're looking for a way to get your product in front of a wider audience and generate more reviews, Agorist.ai might be worth checking out.
Absolutely. It's a great resource for sellers of all sizes.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this section. We've talked about the importance of reviews, the psychology of the buyer, and some specific strategies for generating positive feedback.
And we even threw in a bonus resource for finding Amazon affiliates.
Yeah, this has been a really informative deep dive so far.
I agree. Now let's move on and talk about how to handle those inevitable negative reviews.
All right, let's do it. So yeah, dealing with those negative reviews, it's just part of the game.
It is, and it can be tough, especially when you've poured your heart and soul into a product.
Yeah, you take it personally.
I do. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
But I know it's important to stay professional and address those negative reviews in a constructive way.
Absolutely. And both Cow and Bennett, they offer some really solid advice on how to do that.
Like what specifically?
Well, the key is to respond promptly and professionally. Don't get defensive or argue with the customer.
Yeah, it never ends well.
Right. Just acknowledge their concerns, apologize for any inconvenience, and offer a solution.
So it's all about empathy and damage control.
Exactly. You want to show the customer that you care about their experience and that you're willing to go the extra mile to make things right.
And hopefully that will turn a negative experience into a positive one.
Exactly. And it also shows potential buyers that you're a responsible and responsive seller.
That's a good point. It's about building trust even when things go wrong.
Right. Now, sometimes you might even be able to get a negative review removed if it violates Amazon's community guidelines.
Oh, really? Like what kind of situations?
Well, if the review contains profanity, personal information, or if it's clearly seller feedback disguised as a product review, you can report it to Amazon and they might take it down.
So there are some situations where you can actually fight back against unfair or inaccurate reviews.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that Amazon has pretty strict guidelines for what constitutes a removable review.
So don't expect to get every negative review taken down.
Right. Only the ones that are truly egregious.
Okay, so what about the legitimate negative reviews? The
Okay.
ones that are actually pointing out flaws in your product or service?
Well, even those can be valuable learning opportunities.
How so?
Well, they can help you identify areas where you can improve your product, your listing, or your customer service.
So it's about turning that negative feedback into something positive.
Exactly. Instead of getting defensive, use those negative reviews as a chance to make your product even better.
Okay, but let's be realistic. A bunch of negative reviews can really drag down your product's overall rating. So what can you do to counteract that?
Well, all those strategies we talked about for generating positive reviews, they become even more important when you're trying to offset negative feedback.
So it's like a balancing act. You need to keep those positive reviews coming in to maintain a healthy overall rating.
Exactly. And if you're really struggling to improve your rating, Bennett suggests a nuclear option, relaunching the product with a clean slate.
Wow, that sounds drastic.
Mm.
But I guess sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
It's definitely a last resort, but if you've tried everything else and the negative reviews are still dragging you down, it might be the only way to salvage the product.
Of course, before you relaunch, you'd want to carefully analyze why the original product failed to resonate with buyers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't want to repeat the same mistakes with the new version.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about the psychology of the buyer. Both Cao and Bennett spend a good chunk of time on this, and it's super fascinating.
Yeah, they really dive deep into what makes Amazon shoppers tick. And they offer some great insights that can help you optimize your listings and increase your sales.
So how do we get inside the mind of an Amazon shopper? What are they looking for? What motivates them to buy?
Well, one key takeaway is the power of visual cues. Buyers make snap judgments based on what they see. So high-quality product photos, a well-designed logo, a clear and concise product title, those things are all crucial.
It's like that saying you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Exactly. And as we discussed earlier, those star ratings are another powerful visual cue. Buyers are drawn to products with a high average rating because it signals quality and reliability.
It's almost like a shortcut for decision making. They see a 4.7-star rating and they think, okay, this must be good.
Right. And then there's the power of scarcity and urgency. Limited time offers countdown timers, phrases like only a few left in stock. Those things can create a sense of urgency that drives buyers to make a purchase.
Yeah, the good old FOMO, fear of missing out.
Mm.
It gets me every time.
Right. We've all been there scrolling through Amazon and suddenly we're convinced that we absolutely need that item.
Like right now, even though we didn't even know it existed 5 minutes ago.
Exactly. And that's the power of scarcity and urgency.
Okay, so visual cues, star ratings, scarcity and urgency, all important factors in influencing buyer behavior. What else?
Well, another interesting point that both Cao and Bennett bring up is the importance of framing your product's benefits.
So instead of just listing a bunch of features, you should focus on how those features actually solve problems or improve the customer's life.
Exactly. You're painting a picture of the desired outcome and helping the customer visualize how the product will benefit them.
So instead of saying this blender has 10 speeds, you might say create perfectly smooth smoothies and delicious soups with our powerful 10-speed blender.
Exactly. You're appealing to their emotions as well as their logic.
Right, because ultimately people buy things because they want to feel good, they want to solve problems, they want to improve their lives.
Exactly. And if you can tap into those desires, you're much more likely to make a sale.
Okay, so we've got visual cues, scarcity and urgency, framing your product's benefits.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, one more thing. Both Cao and Bennett really emphasize the importance of building trust and credibility.
So it's not just about having a great product and a compelling listing. You also need to establish yourself as a trustworthy brand.
Exactly. This goes beyond just having positive reviews. It's about showcasing your brand's story, highlighting your expertise, and demonstrating your commitment to customer satisfaction.
So it's about going beyond just selling a product and creating a brand that people trust and want to support.
Exactly. And that's how you build a loyal customer base that will keep coming back for more.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground in this section. We've talked about the importance of reviews, the psychology of the buyer, and some specific strategies for generating positive feedback. Anything else we need to touch on?
I think we've pretty much hit all the major points.
Awesome. Well, then let's move on to the final part of our deep dive, where we'll talk about some advanced strategies for managing your Amazon reputation and maximizing your sales.
Sounds good. Let's do it. Okay, so we've talked about getting those reviews and kind of understanding what makes Amazon shoppers tick, but let's face it, negative reviews are going to happen.
Oh, they definitely happen no matter how amazing your product is.
Yeah, someone's always going to find something to complain about, right?
So it's not about avoiding negative reviews altogether,
Yeah.
right? It's about handling them the right way.
Exactly. And both Cao and Bennett, they give some really good advice on how to do that.
Okay, like what?
Well, like we said before, the key is to respond quickly and professionally. Don't get all defensive.
Yeah, don't pick fights with customers online.
Right. Just stay calm, acknowledge their concerns, apologize if there was any inconvenience and try to offer a solution.
So empathy and damage control, basically.
Exactly. You want to show the customer, hey, I care about your experience and I'm willing to work with you to make things right.
hopefully turn that frown upside down.
Exactly. And it also shows other potential buyers, the ones reading those reviews, that you're a good seller, someone who takes responsibility and is easy to work with.
Good point. It's all about building trust, even when things go wrong.
Right. And in some cases, you might even be able to get a negative review removed if it violates Amazon's rules.
Oh, really? Like how?
Well, if a review has bad language or personal info, or if it's not really about the product itself, it's more about the shipping or something.
Ah, so seller feedback disguised as a product review.
Yeah, exactly. You can report those kinds of reviews to Amazon, and there's a chance they'll take them down.
So it's worth pushing back on those unfair or inaccurate reviews.
Definitely. But just remember, Amazon has pretty strict rules about this, so they're not going to remove every negative review.
Makes sense. So you got to pick your battles.
Right. But what about those legit negative reviews? The ones that are hey, this product has a flaw.
Oof. Yeah, those sting a little.
They do, but they can actually be helpful.
Wait, really?
Yeah, think about it. They can highlight areas where you could improve your product or your listing or even your customer service.
Okay, yeah, I see your point. Turn that negative feedback into something positive.
Exactly. Use it to make your product even better.
All right, but let's be real.
Yeah.
Negative reviews can really hurt your overall rating. Is there anything you could do to counteract that?
Well, all the strategies we talked about for getting good reviews, they become even more important when you've got some negative ones in the mix.
So you got to keep those positive reviews coming in.
Exactly. It's a balancing act.
And what if you've tried everything and your rating is still low, stuck below that 3.6 mark?
Well, Bennett mentioned this kind of last resort option, relaunching the product with a clean slate.
Ooh, a fresh start. But that seems kind of drastic.
It is. It's not something you do lightly.
Yeah.
But if you've tried everything else and those negative reviews are just killing your sales, it might be the only way to go.
Makes sense. But I guess before you hit that reset button, you'd really want to analyze why the original product wasn't working.
Oh, definitely. You got to learn from your mistakes so you don't repeat them with the new version.
All right, so we've covered a ton of ground today, from the importance of reviews to the psychology of Amazon shoppers and even some advanced tactics for managing your reputation.
Yeah, we really went deep on this one.
We did, and I think the big takeaway here is that getting Amazon reviews, it's an ongoing process.
It's not a one-time thing.
You got to be proactive, you got to be strategic, and you got to be willing to adapt your approach as needed.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And of course, if you're looking to connect with some awesome Amazon affiliates to help boost your product's visibility, be sure to check out Agorift.ai.
Yeah, it's a great resource.
Awesome. Well, that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time.
Wish your videos could speak the world's language? Imagine your videos breaking through language barriers and reaching billions more people who speak over 200 languages different from yours. Whether you're a brand, influencer, or podcaster,
C'est per te è importante quanto per... If smelling good 24 hours. Si pour toi il est aussi important. Si para ti es tan importante como para mí oler rico 24 horas.
language shouldn't hold you back from reaching larger audiences. Create a video and distribute it in 200+ languages. How does that sound? Our AI-powered video translation makes it possible with just a click. So why limit your reach? Work smarter. Create one video and turn it into 200+ localized versions.
Horas al día. Tengo que recomendarte CleanSense.
Whether you're a business expanding globally, an influencer connecting with diverse followers, or a YouTuber growing your channel, one thing is clear. Language barriers are a thing of the past. With just a few clicks, you can translate your videos into multiple languages,
Would you like me to translate that?
instantly connecting with audiences worldwide. It's simple. Upload your video. Choose the languages to translate to. Let our AI work its magic. In minutes, your video will be transformed with accurate tone, voice, subtitles, and even voiceover options, ready to captivate audiences in any language.
Last a very long time on your body. There are fragrances for both.
Don't wait. The world is watching. Join thousands of businesses, influencers, and content creators who trust our AI to take their content to a global stage. It's time to start up. Brand ID is your digital hub.